As we are aware, there is going to be a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. The negotiations have been completed. Both sides have acknowledged that yes, a deal is through. Now, only thing is that it is to be ratified in Netanyahu's cabinet and the parliament. And one of the parties that is supporting Netanyahu and his cabinet is a extreme right-wing element. They say that we do not support and we will resign from this government. So this government is unlikely to fall. This particular deal is going to go through, and as a result of this deal, it will take up to 6 months for all the prisoners to be swapped, whether the Palestinians in Israel or the Israeli captives with Hamas in Hamas, including the mortal remains of various Israeli captives in Hamas who have died due to different reasons, including the war. So this is it. But interestingly, the social media space, especially to say or do with the Twitter and of course some YouTube handles and various other social media spaces, there has been a clear-cut division between Muslim handles and non-Muslim handles. And of course, the third part is the liberal part. So basically, we can say that there have been three separate divisions. To get back again, the Muslim handles, the liberal handle, and the rest of the world. People may like to call them right-wing. Well, that acquisition continues depending on which side you are standing. Now, Muslims have a point. They are so biased on this that they are not seeing what the Hamas did to Jewish people, what big massacre was, what big slaughter was done after the Holocaust. Small children were killed, women were raped, old and sick people were killed in bed. There were videos like that. Naked women were paraded in Gaza, and the Gazans cheered that kind of a display, and it was a great victory for them on 7th of October. So they never criticize. I am yet to come across a single handle that has criticized this very act of Hamas. They identify themselves with Hamas and they consider the action taken by Israel subsequently as a slaughter, as a genocide. So it is they are totally biased. While the rest of the world, which the liberals like to label them as right wing, but the rest of the sane world, which sees Hamas and the Palestinian action as an action of terrorism and Hamas as a terrorist organization, they have been very critical and they have been supporting Israel in this present conflict. But left liberals do not like that. They are labeling these people as right wingers. So that's their problem. But for the left liberals also, the left liberal non-Muslim supporters of Hamas are basically more worried about their reputation. They don't want to be labeled as Islamophobic. So that is their dilemma. So that is why they are standing with the Islamic narrative or the Muslim narrative. Now let's be very fair on this whole war. Going back to 7th of October, to begin with, I'll also come to the Palestinian side subsequently, but let's first talk of the latest thing that has happened about the ceasefire and how did it come to that. So we are all aware that 7th of October there was a massive operation conducted by Iran-backed Hamas and they killed 1,200 odd Israelis. They took 251 captives, if I'm not wrong, and this has been the world's biggest slaughter of Jews after World War II Holocaust. And in support, the Hezbollah also started attacking northern Israel. As a result, there has been a big displacement. Now, in that displacement, if we go by figures, around 96,000 Israelis have been displaced. Number of Israelis have been killed. Israel also has carried out an action thereafter, and in that action in Gaza, 50,000 Palestinians have been killed. Now, mind you, all were not terrorists. Innocent people, children, and women have been killed. Yes, it is a genocide by those standards and those norms if you go by purely the figures and one-sided opinion. But if you look at it from both the sides, probably much of it is a collateral. Now, Hezbollah also, in support of Hamas, carried out a lot of rocket firing, and as I said, 96,000 people were displaced from northern Israel. And when this thing happened, Israel attacked Lebanon, Israel attacked Hezbollah, and approximately 1.4 million, 1.4 Lebanese actually were displaced. So, lots and lots of human tragedy has unfolded in past 2 or 3 years that have seen this kind of tamasha that is taking place in Middle East, wherein all the values of human rights and human values have been kicked aside, and things are very polarized that we have seen, and this is how it is. Now, the point that I'm trying to make over here, when I have just given you these figures of past 2 years, 3 years, since this conflict is brewing, and thereafter it took shape, and now it is coming to a conclusion. Let's not do away with the fact that in 1948, it was a hostile displacement of local Palestinians by the Israeli army and the Israeli forces, wherein 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly evicted from their homes. And it was so sudden, it was with lightning speed and so well planned that the Palestinians did not get a chance to collect their belongings, and they were just hurriedly put in vehicles of all sorts and thrown away out of the Israeli borders. So in that hurry, in that jiffiness, they locked their houses and carried those keys. These keys are still there with the Palestinians. They are passed on through the generation with the hope that one day we will go back. Now they are all symbolic. Now their houses are no more there to be traced, but this is a symbolic gesture which is keeping the idea of free Palestine alive. So that issue cannot be forgotten, but unfortunately the people like Yasser Arafat, who came into the game and hijacked the whole Palestinian narrative, brought in an angle, the violent angle, which was seen as terrorism. And over the years, the modern definition of terrorism, the Islamic terrorism, if you can say, the father of which was Yasser Arafat, has now taken such a big turn that there was a time when people were critical about Israel. In India also, there was great opposition to Israel at one point in time, but today it is not so. Everybody can see through that it is the terrorism by the Palestinians, and hence people are aligned to Israeli narrative, in which the common citizen, common human being suffers and continues to suffer. So I'll end this video with what the Indian government stance is. It says that we support the two-nation establishment over there. The Israeli nation, they also have a right to stay and live, because now they are there. You can't just do away with that. To do one wrong, you can't do, to do away with one wrong, you can't just do another wrong. So they will continue to stay. They also have a right to stay. And similarly, the Palestinians also have a right to have their own homeland. So this is the government of India's stance, and I support that. I think that is the only solution, and I hope that after the ceasefire, this particular aspect is debated and brought into reality in days to come. With this, I end my video. Whether you like it or you don't like it, if you don't like it, abuse. If you like it, kindly share with your friends. Jai Hind.